maybe put a cog in there, try for a peel, protect, kill that Mundo while he's running at you. It's a possibility.
Yeah, certainly is a possibility, and Radiant was originally known for his Vayne, has had some poor performances on it in the past, so maybe not going to look towards that one, but the Kog'Maw looked relatively good.
Relatively, when he had his flash. But, of course, for the OPL, they do need their jungler to be with them on the front line. Of course, Carbon flashed over to go for the 1v1 jungle, only to have his entire team killed behind him.
Yeah, he certainly did. Went for the big play, but instead we get Ejim Ellie Godlocked in here. Of course, made a huge name when the then Avant-Garde lineup went overseas to compete in, I believe it was the IEM, and this is what I was talking about. Get Carbon and Ejim back on your initiating tanky members. Expect Carbon to go the Cinderhulk here. Then Ryu can play whatever the heck he wants in the top lane and just try and 1v1 Evie over and over again.
I would not want to deal with the Dr. Mundo on this patch. He goes where he pleases and he kills what he pleases as well, as you mentioned already, with that attack damage steroid on his E and the fact that it resets. So it's a scary thought. So for Japan, they're going to play the safe route here. Lock in their duo of this Lucian and Thresh, the Wifesteal lane, if you will. And we're still not 100% sure if that's jungle or top Mundo, but I'm kind of inclined to think that's going to be top just because of the power that he gets. Yeah,
I am as well, and the fact that he gets low on his first clear, as soon as you leave Elise open, there always is that, I guess, possibility that you're going to get invaded into your jungle relatively early, especially if there are some lane swap shenanigans. So would not be surprised to see Evie take, once again, another beefy top laner up there, try and contain OPL's Ryu.
We'll see if Ryu's going to do something different. He played the beef tank earlier, Malphite. Didn't go well. It's still available. I'm not expecting it. I'm not expecting it. So what does he run into Evie's Mundo? Does he go for something more teamfight oriented like a Rumble? Does he look towards... I mean, Darius is something he's played in the past. It's kind of a hybrid. You get some damage out there. You get some tankiness. Yeah,
he also has a very good Renekton from what we've heard as well. So might be able to take that, and it is going to be the Oceanic Special Radiant. Oh, this is either going to be really good or really bad out of Radiant, because he used to be a great Vayne. Recently, it's been very wanting.
Well, the pressure is on. Go big or go home when you've only got 6 games to play in the International Wildcard All-Stars. You need to pick up wins, and of course, it is one of the options to kill a Mundo.
Yeah,
that is the thing. You have to have a hyper carry to kill a Mundo.
Yeah, you certainly do have to be able to cut through that. All of a sudden, they've got the Elise, they've got Vayne. Both of them should be able to start chunking this Mundo out as the game goes on. Hovering Gangplank right now for Seros. Pentakill in IWC-Q, yes. Went on to lose the game, but they're the 2 champions that really stick out for me. Maybe it's just something to do with circles in general, but this man's zone control is very good.
So, circles in general. Thank you. I was not expecting that one. So a few seconds to go, and the Japanese squad do not have the greatest amount of physical magic damage yet. But we are going to expect that Malphite to be then in the top lane, so that should be then a Mundo jungle. So it is going to be that route. Opportunities for Carbon if he wants to punish early, as well as Choo Choo's once he gets that Destiny. But what does Ryu then run into what is going to be most likely Malphite top?
Yeah, all of a sudden it really shrinks the pool because, you know, having a look at it, Gangplank top really would have done well in this lineup, but of course it was picked up by the LJL squad. We'll see whether he wants to run a Rageblade user. You know, we've talked about it a lot. A lot of them can do okay in the mid game, especially because of low mobility that will come out of Lucian until he gets that 40% cooldown reduction.
Jax,
Aurelia. Olaf is something else that he played a heck of a lot of.
I'm going to do the Olaf instead, and I guess that's one way to get to the back line. I mean, when you look at the Japanese squad, there's not a lot of damage. They are so reliant on Gangplank's setup and then Lucian to clean up. If at any point the LJL team falls behind, TF into the back line, Olaf into the back line, Elise can repel to the back line. Look, screw Radio, you don't need to protect him if you can kill the only damage dealers from the LJL.
And you know, we used to make a joke about Radiant that he used to play only Ezreal or Caitlyn because no one on his team back then Immunity would ever peel for him. It was like, mate, you're on your own, we're all going and catch you later. And this is a very similar comp. It's like all in, rush the 2 damage threats. Radiant, as long as you're hiding one of the big beefcakes in the front line, then we're going to be completely fine as this game goes on, and it is a triple threat comp.
I do think, though, the early game is so important for both teams. Because if either team gets ahead, they can use the tools in their comps to punish their opponents. If Olaf cannot deal with Malphite or cannot get to Gangplank Lucian, that 3 threats become significantly less viable.
Yeah, the thing that I'm looking at is there's a lot of mid-range, and that is what Gangplank actually thrives against. You know, he doesn't like people in his face like Aurelia and the Fiora. He really likes these mid-range carries that skirt around the edges of his barrel, because if you ever get one of those really lucky good barrels, he can chunk people out, and that's what Seros made a name for himself of. So a lot of pressure on the execution part of the game for the OPL.
Let's take a look if they have the ability to pick up their first win at the IWCA. Guys, you know the deal. On Twitter at @lol_Oceania. Hit us up with your votes. There's going to be hashtag LJL win or hashtag OPL win. I like both of these team comps, and I'd like to watch this laning phase as closely as possible, because that will determine, I feel, who's going to pick up the lead. Overly dramatic music loading in. That's really intense. And we got the makings of some level 1 shenanigans here from the OPL. Taking a page out of the Southeast Asians book.
Yeah, certainly are, but that's the thing. As soon as you have an Alistar as well as that Olaf, just get in there level 1. They're so strong at this part of the game. Choo-Choo's also has a stun available that is point and clicks. And you see, straight away, LGL respect it, back the heck out of there.
Yeah, very smart play. Evie's going to be placing some wards up in that top half of the map. And at least a reply to the OPL invade. I wonder if OPL are going to be setting themselves up for a little bit of a lane swap. Thresh Lucian could really make life difficult for Vayne Ali in the very early stages of a matchup. And of course for the OPL, they definitely want to bounce back from their earlier showing where Southeast Asia really gave them a bit of a beating in the early stages of the game.
Yeah, they certainly did. Southeast Asia just seems to have the Oceanic lineup measure right now in international events. One thing I will say about EGM Radiant, they play on the same team, the Chiefs. They were known during the regular season to take unfavorable matchups. In fact, even got called a little bit arrogant at times for doing that, because they will just continue to fight at any stage of the game.
Well, looks to be the case again. I don't think it's going to be arrogance this time around, and we'll see whether or not those jungle wards pay out in favor of the OPL. But I also want to watch Rainbrain. Yamato was saying he needs to take his finger off that the Twitter finger, put it on the trigger finger. Dr. Mundo is, I think, somewhat of a binary champion when it comes to engaging. EGM's got an early level 2 and jumps forward, but look at how much damage in return. I don't think you wanted that.
Yeah, and that's not even a miscommunication. Radiant goes on to the Lucian. EGM goes on to Dara for some reason. They split focus, and Mweki just says, thank you very much. There's a Light Slinger passive to the face, and all of a sudden chunked a little bit out of that lane.
And that's actually inexcusable when you consider they're from the same team.
They're teammates.
Both of these guys were voted in from Chiefs. They are, in fact, the #1 voted players from both of their respective roles. So a little bit of a miscommunication. Let's see if it's a little bit of that best friends club clouding their vision, you know? Just want to give their opposite number a hug and a pat on the back.
Certainly do. Looks to be a fairly inactive early game. Carbon not invading at the start of it, although Choo-Choo's getting chunked out of that mid lane. And is Seros running Grasp of the Undying? Is that what that was?
I think that may have been. We'll have to get the observers just to confirm that for us. Take a look at Seros's mastery page. And of course, while Seros has built up an advantage in the middle lane, Ryu has come out swinging up top. He's got himself 17 CS already to the 12 of Abby, has pushed that lane in. And we'll have a little bit of freedom. Jungler's about to go toe-to-toe. The Cocoon connects onto Rainbrain. Again, Mueki and Dara really just out-trading EGM and Radiant, but it was as to be expected in this matchup.
Yeah, we said this is the way it is going to go, just because of the range advantage that Thresh holds over Alistar, unless it really is that all-in, as Rainbrain might be in a bit of trouble.
Let's take a look. Choo-Choo's has Flash and Ignite. Gold card connects. Ignite is ticking away. First blood and double buffs. That is such a painful thing for the LGL.
Yeah, one for the fans at home. Seros's lane just got domoed there. That is absolutely inexcusable. Runs into another jungler's jungle and then gives over double buff to a losing lane. All of a sudden, Choo-Choo's can recall, come back with another Doran's Ring, and Seros is going to be in a lot of trouble because of the mana and the damage that will come out of the red buff.
Choo-Choo's is going to wave clear for days, make up that CS deficit. He's got enough for Ionian Boots of Lucidity as well. That's actually going to open up the map even more when he gets access to Destiny. So that is a very, very big swing in available power to the OPL.
Ooh, Evie just missed that ward, so doesn't spot out Carbon, but instead they do decide to recall. Ryu doesn't want to go in for that.
Oh, Dara, you gotta respect the knockback. He flashes away from the turret. Death Sentence doesn't connect. Mweki's gonna be low on mana, but Ejim with the flash pulverized headbutts, forcing Dara out of lane.
Yeah, fantastic trade in the end. It is 3 summoner spells for just those of Ejim.
Choo-Choo's is in trouble now. Rainbrain wants his buffs back. Choo-Choo's looking for the kill. Not gonna find it. Seros flashes away, and Rainbrain, he gets what he donated in return.
Yeah, gives him the ukulele to the back of the head. So Seros able to survive by the skin of his teeth. That will make him a little bit happier. And he continues to get the CS advantage in this mid lane.
Of course, Evie, it must be very cold in Australia because he's picked up 3 cloth armors. Really feeling the pain. Dara didn't even try sidestep that one. Ejim pins him against the wall. Dara should get run down. 150 hit points. Drop to low enough for Silver Bolts to pick up the kill, and Radier, he's got himself the kill.
Yeah, so in the end, it is Radier that gets one back because of a little bit of attention from the jungler. Carvin holding off on taking that kill. Very, I guess, nice teamwork between Legacy and Chiefs players there, and Radier will come out the beneficiary. One thing to point out is Seros is nearly about to tick level 6, and Choo-Choo's only just got level 5 in that mid lane. If he uses that ultimate to maybe set up Rainbrain for a gank, Choo-Choo's cannot respond.
Choo-Choo's flash, 50% of its cooldown, still ticking away, so defensive summoner or utility summoner are really not available yet. And the OPL, they've got themselves a gold lead, but Rainbrain, level advantage over Carbon. And he's just going to take him out here. That ukulele's going to get swung. The burning over time.
And this is exactly why people fear the Mundo. Choo-Choo's in trouble.
And this exactly like you said, Spawn Dara. Death Sentence, will it find its mark? And the answer is no. The ukulele flies wide as well, and the roam from Dara well-timed, albeit inefficient.
Yeah, and in the end, it is the summoner spells being down that really do save Choo-Choo's life. So Ejim probably throwing his mid laner a bone there, and Rainbrain not done. He's going top.
Wow, what a different performance. Ryu is going to throw out that Ragnarok. Does not get knocked out by Unstoppable Force, and trading ultimate for ultimate plus summoner spell. Rainbrain, a much better performance this time round.
Yeah, he got busier around the map early, and that's what we wanted. Sure, Mundo very strong on the current patch, but still need to be proactive and make things happen after that first shot. Definitely has done that.
All right, 20 CS already, 2-1. Got that challenging spot. Hasn't been back to farm in a little while. Mweki almost set himself up to get stunned, but manages to put it just enough distance away from Radier, who already has that Zeal picked up.
Oh, Radier.
Second vein of the day. Let's see if he's going to go for that 522 patch of Shiv into Rapid Fire Cannon.
Yeah, blowing off a little bit of the rust there. Tumbled straight at Mweki, who could not punish him as much as he would have liked. Ryu going in.
Well, let's find out. Reckless Swing comes out. Ryu's going to at least have that wave pushing back towards him. So the lanes have now petered out, standardized, and that gold lead that the OPL had earned has now shrunk away thanks to the LGL picking up some great kills in the mid lane and jungle.
Yeah, and you can see 14 CS when it's Gangplank, who already gets extra gold from that parlay. You just saw it right there. Another 7 means that the further Choose falls behind, the worse off he is going to be. We have to see whether he can really recover this lane, because all of a sudden, Carbon's falling behind because of it. The Twisted Fate is falling behind, and that's a lot of the global gank pressure gone.
The one benefit is that the side lanes are still doing relatively well for OPL. So if Choo-Choo's gets enough time to use a Destiny, you can see him moving north of the map to that top quadrant. That Destiny could enable a good play.
Yeah, certainly could. Ejim also still wants to be very aggressive, much more comfortable on the Alistar this game. No bluffs this time, just going in at every opportunity. And Seros is still being pushed in, so even though mid lane is kind of going in his favor, he's not giving much pressure to the rest of the map, not going to be able to teleport at the same rate that Choose can. And as long as they secure that vision control, he can kind of play what Pawn does on EDG, and that's just be that distraction and get in there for some games.
Well, Seros really wants to get some lane pressure here. Slightly awkward ultimate, I feel. But he knows something we don't.
dangerous back timing actually coming in right now. Ryu had gone back, just purchased, and does have teleport available. They could have potentially set up a play on that ward on the bottom side of the jungle and maybe even gone for a dive of the LJL team. But unfortunately, Carbon not on the right side of the map.
Well, Seros will have his ultimate shortly, so maybe we wanted to set something up. Phage and Sheen picked up, as well as those Brawler's gloves. Choo-Choo's has been able to control the mid lane for a long period of time, thanks to getting those Ionian boots of lucidity. Now we're going to see Choo-Choo starting to back away.
So we'll have to see whether the Chiefs are able to use this Elise to get anything else done around the map. Still a very quiet performance out of Carbon, and Mundo going to scale much more successfully as the game goes on. So needs to be able to get something happening, you feel, in the next 10 minutes. Otherwise, Chiefs are just going to continue to fall behind.
Let's take a look at how these lanes continue to then play out. Of course, we do see Ejim and Radia. They've made their way back into that bottom lane. No real tower pressure from most of the teams, despite the fact that Ryu's been pushing Evi in. The HP is still standing quite high, and Ejim again going to clear out those wards in the tri-bush.
Yeah, and Dara had left him, so not much support coming there. Not able to get anything done just yet. Rainbrain on the other side of the map, so Destiny still available once again.
Let's see when it's going to get used. Initially, there was a couple of kills early because of some questionable decisions, let's say. But now the tempo of the game has slowed down. We're going into this extended laning phase. What do you think is really going to break this game open? Will it be a Choo-Choo's play, or maybe an objective like Dragon, Rift Herald, maybe?
Yeah, well, with the rate that they're pushing, maybe the OPL lineup is really just happy to see if they can get the turrets at a good click, although Seros looks to be trying to get aggressive with Rainbrain there. Yeah, maybe they're just happy with trying to take the turrets out, because realistically, Vayne will continue to scale up. That's a lot of pressure on Radiant to be able to deal with two big bruisers in the front line. But they still do have win conditions late.
I guess for both teams, they'll be happy to play for late. There is a cannon barrage in the middle lane. Rainbrain's flashed over. He's lobbing the ukuleles out, but Choo-Choo's not dancing to his beat. He's managed to get away. Down in the bottom lane, the death sentence connected onto Ejim, and he's also going to be able to escape, and it ends up resulting in a flash from Rainbrain for a flash for Choo-Choo's.
Yeah, so in the end, just traded. Seros will be very happy with his jungler, because now pushing down the mid lane turret.
Well, Gold Card catches onto Seros. He eats an orange, and it's okay. Manages to back away to fight another day. Well, OPL, they just want to continue to play.
And this is a very slow start to a game, you know, on a very accelerated patch right now. Rift Herald sitting all on his lonesome, has not been looked at one iota as of yet, as maybe Ejim looking for another play, but not much happening at all, really.
Yeah, there's no real follow-up, so despite a great, headbutt pole, it just looks good. So, well played to Ejim, but, you look at across the rest of the map, and Frozen Heart's been picked up here for Evi. Trinity Force, very close to completion for Seros. Big items.
In the end, it is. Oh, Ejim goes in.
Ejim has found Doris, knocked him back. Teleport's being channeled from Evi. A flash away from Radia to dodge the death sentence. Carbon's going to throw out a volatile spiderling and eat a dragon shot in the behind for his troubles. LJL are now tanking up the Drake. They got the TP from Evi as we catch a glimpse of this mid lane. Choo-Choo's gold cards himself out to safety, and he manages to make it away. Ryu did get the first tower of the game thanks to all of those shenanigans. He's got himself a 40 CS advantage, and maybe that's how the OPL get themselves ahead.
Yeah, and this is what we said. If Ryu can get onto a carry, a good damage-dealing source that can be a threat and continue to push in these lanes, Evi wants to be in the team fight at all stages. He's not going to be able to continually defend this, and Ryu can just take structure after structure and put map pressure on for the OPL lineup.
That's exactly what they needed. Without that threat, then Vayne would have been easy to target out. Then Choo-Choo's ability to deal with any of the threats on that back line is significantly reduced. So OPL will be happy with this turn of events. The back timing from the Japanese means that the Australians and New Zealanders and Oceanic players can get themselves onto their first Drake of the game. So, first tower, first dragon.
So much threat now for the OPL team, because that teleport was used. All of a sudden, you have the Black Cleaver picked up for the Olaf in the top lane. if they do try and challenge that whatsoever, or even jockey for position right now, you just feel that it will be a very hard team fight to win. So instead, we have Seros, once again, that bank plank just sitting there, continuing to farm up.
The bank plank. I didn't know that there was no Rek'Sai in this game because the farm alarm has simply not stopped.
That guy's an absolute monster as Ryu actually tries to get some aggression in the top lane. Tanks a whole creep wave for his trouble though, so we'll be chunked out a little bit, and that's still Dr. Mundo hanging out up there.
So tower dive is a real possibility, but with Ghost and Ragnarok, Ryu should be able to get away very, very easily. That ukulele's not going to slow him down at all once Ryu decides to go in. Evie, how close is he to level 11 just to get an extra rank in that unstoppable? It's not going to be enough.
Evie just gave that away. There is no way as a Malphite he would continue to stay that far up the lane if his jungler wasn't in his back pocket. You know, they've got an Elise and a Twisted Fate that can join at the drop of a hat. So maybe a little bit of a tell there, although now he is backed off and Ryu is starting to take the bait.
Oh, I just don't know. Unstoppable does connect. Ragnarok is out as well as the Ghost. The damage is good, and with the cannon barrage, it's going to be enough. A three-man combo, they take him down.
Yeah, so that's what I was talking about. Evie needed to back away, get out of line of sight. He had flash and ultimate would have worked, but Dara in trouble.
Now Dara's been caught out. Destiny lands. Gold card connects. But Moeki's putting the damage down. Radiant's got his second kill of the game, but he's been slowed by the box. The turret shots hurt, and the barrel hurts more. A flash forward throws out that flaming passive blade. Seros gets one. Moeki gets a second.
And you can see how good Seros is. Even though Radiant ran off the first barrel, had the confidence to be able to patiently sit there, gets the second one layered across, flashes with the passive available, and grabs himself the kill. That means that the bottom turret is now under fire for the OPL, and they lose the trade even using the Destiny.
So, LJL get themselves the kill lead, the gold lead. They even out the towers. And that was a very, very well-played team fight. They turned that around effectively. The teleport from Seros, greater than the Destiny from Choo-Choo's.
Yeah, it certainly was, and you know, we've said that Choos needed to get more active earlier, and now that Seros has had all of this time to scale up, looks like he is going to go for an Essence Reaver second. That will mean 40% cooldown reduction on 2 items, defensive boots for the Gangplank, and still going towards that crit build path.
Well, we'll find out how well those barrels work. Because for OPL, they've unlocked one additional way to try win this game through that Olaf split push. The only risk is their wave clear is so reliant on Choo-Choo's Twisted Fate. It looks like Radio's going a crit build here. We'll see how that continues to pan out with the BF sword and the pickaxe, not the rapid fire cannon we saw earlier today.
Yeah, I think what he is actually going for is he'll park it there for the time being. Just wanted some extra AD, go towards a rapid fire cannon, then finish off the Infinity Edge. At least that's what I hope he goes for, because he really does need to stay safe. So the movement speed as well as the empowered auto attack probably going to do more at this stage of the game than any additional damage.
Heavy will be donated that Rift Herald with the help of Rainbrain focusing it down. So the additional pushing power and stats will help him a little against Ryu, but he still doesn't want to be in that 1v1. He does not want to get run down from those undertows over and over and over, and the true damage that Olaf can put out.
Yeah, certainly does not. The problem is, though, that Ryu kind of doesn't have a lane right now, so the one winning lane from the OPL lineup is just forced to kind of roam around the jungle, and the wave clear is just so good.
It really is. Cannon barrage in the barrels.
Nearly killed Carbon.
Seros almost gets a kill on the side, almost unintentionally in some ways.
Carbon, of course, one of the shot callers, Egypt, maybe a bit caught.
He's going to use the headbutt pulverize. Radio was left a little alone. Teleport comes down from Ryu. Destiny follows with Choo-Choo's. If they don't get a tower out of this, this is a monumental waste. Evie teleported as well, so wow, everybody's invited to the party, but there's simply no music or DJ.
Yeah, there certainly is not. Everyone kind of looks at each other, draws battle lines, and decides they want to fight at a different time. Seros, oh!
Wow, that hurts so much.
Yeah, it certainly does. And Choos wards it. He's like, what the heck was that? But it was blind, of course, just very good timing from the Japanese mid laner.
It's all about the circles. I learned today.
Is.
If there are champions that have circular spell reticles, Seros will be a god on those champions.
And already Frozen Heart picked up here. Rainbrain joins. This is a very real dive.
Unstoppable Force is available. Rainbrain does have an ultimate as well, has thrown it down. Tanks up a turret shot and a defensive flash from Egypt. Rainbrain just says, I'll face tank this one, but nobody else wants to take the tower. So he just shows off his regen and then backs away.
Oh,
wow.
Seros is continuing to put in work, and I cannot stress enough, the OPL lineup has a Gangplank player on there, and to leave it up for that long. Gangplank saw so much popularity through Worlds and even more recent tournaments, and crit is just so much easier to build on this patch.
And crit cooldown reduction, it all combos so naturally. Seros should have enough gold, I think, to finish off that Essence Reaver. We'll keep track of that as he will be back in shortly. The CS deficit has closed somewhat for both Choo-Choo's and for Evie. Because Evie was struggling against Ryu. Choo-Choo's has now been able to just sit back and use those wild cards.
Yeah, and that is just so much value. You saw it right there. Give the 3 little Raptors over to the Gangplank. He gets the bonus gold. They're trying to get Ryu into a short lane, see if he can push down more turrets, but because Dragon is actually up, putting Radiant in the top side of the map means they have to forfeit that, and he can't even farm still because there's no turret behind him.
Yeah, and you have to ask again, what did the OPL hope to accomplish with their previous bottom lane play? Like the teleport into the Tri-Bush, the Destiny into the lane, maybe behind some vision from LJL, and then hey guys, they waved and walked away. That was a major investment for very little commitment. So the shot calling, not on the same page.
And this is like watching a Ziggs play, to be honest. Seros has just cleared mid lane and then gone top lane, but he is being dove.
Well, Oranges are going to help him out, and Choo-Choo's has delivered a kill to Seros's hands. You can see his player cam on the bottom right. That is not a happy camper. And now, again, a poor call. Hourglass was available, not even used.
Yeah, and that was just absolutely mind-boggling from Choose. And Seros not done yet.
Well, Radio wants to try fight. Silver Bolt hurts a lot. Oh, they trade!
I cannot believe how much damage that Gangplank just did. Flashes in one more time, gets a passive off. And now the siege continues in the mid lane because they still have these 2 tanky members. And
there's no wave clear from Choo-Choo, so LJL will be able to just take this tower down. Mweki's dropped 50% of the HP. Tara finds a death sentence, but does not want to follow it through. Carbon still pretty tanky with that HP and that MR stacked up.
And as of now, the LJL have just reached so many spikes. You can see Lucian has the Essence Reaver, some crit. That puts him on 30% cooldown reduction. All of a sudden, Gangplank, he's at 40%. The 2 tanks have really accelerated their rate because they've given a lot of farm over onto Rainbrain. Frozen Heart completed for Evie up in the top lane. And if they fight right now, there is absolutely no way the OPL take a team fight.
No, they aren't. And simply no chances. For Radia, though, he does finish that Infinity Edge as his second item, in fact. So didn't go for that rapid fire cannon. We need to just take a look if he gets enough time. Now, I quite like the eye edge in terms of if he has some time to deal with Mweki, or if he's alone with Rainbrain, maybe he can deal with him. But the moment you add 2 threats against him, it's simply not going to be enough.
Yeah, the problem is you just cannot kill Rainbrain right now with his ultimate running and his flash available. You can nearly guarantee he's getting in radius phase, and then you throw a Malphite on top of that with the attack speed slow, and once again some more Ziggs action coming out of the Gangplank at this stage. In fact, Evie can just kill him. He's got flash available.
Well, save it for the bigger team fight, maybe when there's a Dragon or a Baron, something like that available. Reserve play. You've been watching too much IWCA today, Spawn, because you're just saying, Flash, do it, fight, kill. Only 11 kills in 23 minutes? What is this?
What a slow game right now. And you can see Oceania, this is their only hope, is for a very slow game. I'm talking like 50 minutes where they finally can even it up. Because even though it's only 3,000 gold, the items just feel so much more impactful on the carries of the LJL. Yeah. And Rainbow, once again, gonna tank it up.
They're finding their targets. Rainbrain does have that ultimate available to heal. Evie in the target of the Cocoon. So they take another 30, 40% of this inner turret hit point. OPL as well as LJL transition over to 3 of those oracles.
And finally, this is what they're continuing to do. Put Ryu in a different lane. See if he can get anything going for himself. Does take another turret. So the 2 turrets that the OPL have are on the back of their top laner.
That's a flash from Egypt, but he doesn't find the pulverize, really. It's now a split. Zeros is in trouble, but Rainbrains come in. He's healing. Radia's auto attacks will not take him out. Choo-Choo's is going to Destiny in to trade a jungler for a mid laner. Radia needs to get away from the cannon barrage as the seismic shard rolls him to death. Zeros is still alive. This is the man that started the fight. Ryu teleports in. He swings those axes and finds a kill. Throws out the undertow. Moeki dashes over the wall. Finds the auto attack for the kill. LJL lose 2 and OPL get ace.
Yes, what a good team fight once again out of the LJL.
Eventually,
Egypt finally goes down. Ace does occur, but this is what we were talking about. Right now, the LJL side is just way too strong. Everything pretty much went right there for the OPL. They got onto the carries. You know, it was Radiant trying to peel for himself, but he just couldn't get anything done.
Unfortunate for Radia, but well played by LJL. Sarah survived so long, so it's 4,000 gold in the lead. LJL take their 4th tower of the game in that middle inner lane. And here's that replay again.
Yeah, let's have a look at it. It looks like Carbon wants Seros, and Choose kind of just teleport to try and get onto Moeki, but that change to the Lucian ultimate means that's so much damage. Raid is still standing in pretty much a full duration of the Gangplank ulti, and even though Ryu comes in here to clean up and gets a lot of work done, doesn't seem to be enough right now. And you can see Lucian, with that increased cooldown reduction, he just ice skates around the map.
Yeah, really well played to flash away from that unstoppable force. Almost blind, but managed to get it caught, but it simply does not matter. Now Radiant, no flash available. He gets caught out, he's in trouble. Couple steps closer to that rapid fire cannon is his 3rd item. Lich Bane, Choo-Choo's another blasting wand.
And no
Infinity Edge almost here for Seros, by the way.
That's what I was going to say. No Infinity Edge yet picked up from the LJL side. So that damage, it gets worse from here. Because, you know, Lucian's going to pick up one. Carbon a little bit caught.
Let's see if Carbon can get away. Blue buff secured by, I believe, Seros there. Just on the outer edge of the frame. For the LJL, they do have the damage to deal with the OPL. They do still need to be a little careful, because if they overstep their bounds, Seros and Moek is left alone, they're in trouble. But when you find a very early kill, almost onto Carbon, he manages to get away. The rappel keeps him alive. That's running away from Ryu. Comes in, throws down the Ragnarok and runs away.
Yeah, actually a really successful disengage, although, wow!
That barrel hits so hard. Avi's going to take the Lantern to safety. Death Sentence connects onto Ejim, and Aradia does have a lot of HP, but there's no mana for Choo-Choo's, and Ejim, he just eats another hook.
Yeah, another weird re-engage coming out of the OPL lineup. Carbon's in base, wants absolutely nothing to do with it. They still lose the Dragon, and now their mid lane turret will be under siege because they don't have the anti-dive threat of an Alistair Pulverize.
No, not the case, unfortunately. OPL not reading the same book, as it were, despite the history that these players have with one another across the different versions of the OPL squads. But they are now 5k gold down, 2 dragons to LJL. Baron, not really a focus yet, but there is some vision now being placed inside the jungle of OPL. So for Japan, they could play around this objective in the coming minutes.
Yeah, they certainly can. Cleavers absolutely tear through Baron, so another use of the Dr. Mundo there. You can see double Infinity Edge just finished up for the LJL side. So many pick wards, they want a play.
Yeah, you have to think with the tools in their kits, now is the time to take over the game. And Cannon Barrage will not save the tower, but it will allow Seros to clear out that wave, continue farming up 290 CS in the 28 minutes, the highest CS by a very large margin. He's just pulled even further ahead of Choo-Choo's now.
Yeah, he's put him in an 80 CS hole right now, and Choo-Choo's, you can see he's trying to catch up with Jungle Camps. Unfortunately, he doesn't do it the same way.
Good flash from Dara. The Destiny comes out. Egypt eats another death sentence. He's got his unbreakable will, though. Carbon is fighting Rainbrain, but he's not going to win. With Choo-Choo's gets caught by the unstoppable force. He goes golden by the hourglass, and some beef has been served up. It's a kill secured for Seros as Mueki's running down the OPL. He's slinging his light across the fight, and the OPL are down. Everyone but Rady is killed, and RJL can turn to the Baron.
And OPL once again pulled the trigger on a very poor play. lane. They knew how much had just been picked up. Moeki had walked into vision. They knew that Zeros had an Infinity Edge, and they just once again run head first into an enemy team and get cleaned up.
Deficit in gold, deficit in map play, deficit in pressure. OPL still commit to the engagement, but what a great flash from Dara.
Yeah, Dara really started that off well and then caught Egypt. And as we said, with no peel, it really means that the rest of the squad is on the back foot. Choo-Choo's gets blown off. Seraph once again continues the chase. And Malphite, Mundo, so many slows, and an ice skating Lucian just means that the LJL lineup is unrelenting in their pursuit.
Well, no wonder the OPL have no idea how to deal with this Lucian. There's no ice on this continent. It's too warm.
It is actually true. I've never seen snow. You are correct.
See? Exactly. 605. Moeki's Lucian. He's got himself that QSS picked up.
And let me tell you, you cannot move that quickly in our sand. Impossible.
Another BF sword there for Seros as well. And a Thornmail for Evi's Malphite up top. So if it wasn't difficult enough, you can see their auto attacks from Radia. They are just tickling Evi. Ryu's dropped before you can really stick to Seros, but a very good play from Radia. They've got one of the damage dealers down. Radia, he's got a double. They've pinned Rainbrain to the wall. He's looking for more. That's the triple kill. That's one stolen away from, of course, Choo-Choo's on that Twisted Fate. Evi shuts him down with the ground slam. Radia wants to chase, decides against it thanks to the armor and the Thornmail, and LJL. They are the ones that make the mistake this time around.
Yeah, and Radia picks up a triple kill. It is those big three items that we talk about on Vayne at the moment picked up that allow him to do so. The empowered auto attacks really started those fights, that fight off well. But you saw the contrast. Rainbrain getting chased, took no damage. On the other side of the map, Ryu looked at the carries and melted.
What a difference. Ryu's just not tanky enough, but this will give a reprieve to OPL.
Yeah, it certainly will, and that's what I'm talking about. Ryu literally took a Light Slinger, and it was done for, but thank God the Silver Bolt's coming up massive here for Radia. Able to get the tumble empowered autos in. Ooh, little bit of a missed ult there from Evi meant that the team fight went probably better than it should.
And that's the only weakness of this LJL comp. When Malphite and Mundo are not in front of their damage dealers, it's actually very easy for the OPL to kill, you know, Seros and Moeki. Even with Ryu going down so quickly, it didn't really matter because Choo-Choo's and Radia could follow up, right? So you trade a threat for a top lane half threat, and you completely nullify LJL's ability.
And they also kind of need something to fight over, right? They can't really fight running in separate directions because Gangplank requires linear gameplay to really set up. So if there isn't a Baron, there isn't a Dragon, it is harder for the LJL to execute on their win conditions. When you look over the other side, Olaf, Vayne, Twisted Fate, they're very much a chasing composition. So if it ever does get to that point, it's really only Moeki that can output the damage.
And with all of those kills that the OPL secured, with the bounties picked up as well, they've closed that gold gap to something that's a little less significant. At 32 minutes in game, 5,000 gold is maybe a little less relevant. So the OPL, they've got another breath of life. Ryu shoving in this top lane once again. Choo-Choo should be able to get that bottom lane outer turret, which has stood for what feels like an eternity. And that, again, will also close this gold gap further.
Yeah, so they're just trying to pick up standing gold where they can right now. They know that probably all their eggs bar the back door in Radiant's basket as Moeki just saves that turret to rub a little bit more salt into the wounds of the OPL lineup. So they're really giving him majority of the farm. See if he can get that upgraded Last Whisper that will allow him to do more damage to targets with more health on him and try and take over the game.
So, the fourth dragon of the game is going to spawn shortly. Choo-Choo says no flash. He does have an hourglass, not even going to get a chance to use it. And the OPL, they got read like a book. It was so obvious to LJL that they wanted the dragon.
Yeah, it certainly was. You know, LJL, that's only number 3. OPL, we just said you want to scale. Take the game as it comes to you. Not run through unwatered territory. In the end, another kill is picked up. They see the mid lane pressure that they were trying to
of all previous showings, and for the LJL, they get themselves a win, taking down the Oceanic squad in a fairly clean, fairly controlled game. They truly had the chances there. Nexus took a little longer to kill than we were expecting. It does drop in the end. And I think credit to Japan and to the LJL for this particular game, from the laning phase to the mid game. Very clear and very controlled, barring one team fight misstep.
Yeah, and this time, Seros once again with an amazing performance, but the rest of the team showed up. Mueki on that Lucian, very good. Evie, I don't believe, died once that game on Malphite, had a very good performance. And then around their mid laner, Seros, this is what we said they needed to do. Just give him some support, because once again, that man is just unbelievable at anything that has zone control. You cannot give him a zone control champion.
Really well played. Barrel mechanics working in his favor. So now we know Zillion has to be banned against Seros.